Welcome back to another episode of GMD. Are we still calling it that? Are we going to change the name? I think we're going to change the
name. We just couldn't figure out what to call it. So
Alex can decide it.
Yeah.
He's had a week off last week, and now he's taking another day off today because he can't hack it. His head's still in Bangkok. Go into what happened in Bangkok, or
I think you can kick off with some of the safer work stuff, and then maybe we can dance around the other bits.
All right. Well, what did you? I suppose the main question coming out of that was this Ethereum 2029 beam chain roadmap kind of thing, which we went to a small media event before the large Infinex event, and Kane from Infinex was just like, what the hell is going on? Like 2029 for a roadmap, like in what world? And I kind of agree, but yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
I honestly thought that it just shows that they've kind of lost direction totally at some point here, because it feels so out of touch. Like, how many people are actually thinking about what happens in 2029 right now, and who wants to position themselves for that when we have narratives which are lasting a week or less, or like the people who come to the market now are all about making money, and they're not thinking about the long-term investments, in my opinion, at the moment. So when you see like a long-dated roadmap like that, I think there's just a massive mismatch problem of the duration between the investors and then some of these like foundations who are, I don't know, they seem to be scrambling. Yeah.
What do you think, Mike? That's all we say. Ship fast. I know it's
ship fast. Well,
it's a complete, like, it's not even in comparison, but like micro scale.
Yeah, but like, how can you? I agree with Gazz. Like, how can you look that far ahead when there's immediate innovation that is happening right now? That's going to be like, even looking at some innovation that's going to launch. Say, I don't know, you like some of the platforms that infrastructure that are going to launch in 2025. Even that, people are saying it's too long. So to come out with a date 4 years, 5 years later, like, you don't stand a chance. And I think it just pays testament to the overall, I guess, sentiment towards Ethereum at the moment and how out of touch they have been, with some of the statements come out, some of the developers, what they've said about the chain. It's completely 360s to where it was last cycle in terms of people's attention, and like, I still hold some Ethereum, but like, I don't really know why at this point.
I think it's interesting though when you see that, Grant, that even an OG DeFi builder like Kane is kind of scratching his head, and he's one of the names. What was this takeaway from it? What was he saying?
It's just like he couldn't believe that, like, after all the kind of bad PR, like bad sentiment, ETH BTC like lowest it's been since early 2021, Solana just completely stealing the show, and then you release a roadmap that's like saying it's going to be done in 2029. So devil's advocate to this is what decentralization looks like. There's, I believe, 5 Ethereum clients that all need building. It's $400 billion asset, like, and it's securing double-digit billions on the network. So there is that part of it, but I also think that's a bit gaslighty from people in the Ethereum community being like, yeah, this means that it's good. If you start building now, forward-looking 4 years in advance, I can't take anyone seriously that tells me they know what the industry is going to look like in 4 years. And if they say that with huge conviction, I think they're full of shit.
Yeah.
Well,
so by the time, like, if it takes you 4 years to finally get there to the next iteration, there's a long period of time where you're kind of drift into irrelevancy, in my opinion. So
and like, look how much things have like moved on in the last 3 years. So, and like, you don't know, you definitely don't know what a direction is going to fit, what infrastructure is going to work. So if you build something that could be obsolete by the time you get to that.
You've got Ethereum 2029 and Elon stating AGI 2026.
then look at this. I'm just going to bring it up because I thought it was quite funny. So there's a website called SolanaRoadmap.com, and this is all it says. Increase bandwidth, reduce latency. That's literally all it says. Yeah. So what did you think of Bangkok as a venue? I think it was fucking fantastic.
I mean,
chaotic.
The traffic's a massive problem there, right? But in terms of the city, the vibe there is unreal. Like, it is a degenerates playground there. A city that literally does not sleep. You could order KFC at 4 a.m. and have it in the lobby with Jerry and Luke if you want to, you know. Just it offers so much, to be honest with you, but it is like a stimulation overload as well, that place. But I really do rate Bangkok, and I think that's a great place to have a stag do, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think in general, like everyone it was just a good vibe. Like it's different to Singapore. I think Singapore was fun, but we're there, like you were saying, Gazz, you can have just everything on your doorstep, and it's so dense and it's cheap, and I think that goes a long way. Then, like, there's always a limit. It doesn't matter how rich you are. When you're paying £13 a fucking pint, it's just like Jesus Christ. So when you can get beers for, I guess some places were a bit more expensive, but when you can get beers for a couple of quid, and like everywhere we went was just cool, like cool restaurants. It reminded me of Bali, really. Like you could have you could have the local food, which is great, but you could have anything in terms of like Western, like Scran, and it was equally top class. So yeah, I think it fits the bill on every single avenue. Really, is the social aspect.
My drinks are twice as expensive because of Paul, who took a shine to me in one of my bars.
One for me.
It definitely used to be a lady boy, and then just give up.
If things go wrong with the missus, you're in there, bro.
I think I started that. I got him one drink, and then I said, "I'm not paying his," and then that was it.
I've got two quick things to add, though. Jerry at the Blockmates event playing a DJ set was absolutely incredible. And the second thing to mention was we met I think it was 15 of us there. You would expect out of a group of 15 to have a bad apple, but everyone in the Blockmates crew was sound as hell. Like, you don't often see that. I thought that was actually quite surprising. So just shout out to everyone who came out. It was a really, really good time, man.
Yeah, productivity low, vibes high.
Yeah.
So, in the actual news, what we're here for, Bitcoin reaching, I believe, 99K. Depends on which exchange you're looking at. Inevitable. What do you think, Gazz?
It's tickling. It's absolutely tickling. I'll tell you what's quite funny today, though. I went to the gym first thing this morning, and even the boys, like the PTs and stuff, all had their phones out looking at the first page of CoinMarketCap and stuff. So we are we're in the froth period now. No longer really, but it seems that Saylor just continues to raise and raise and raise here, and I think him alone is going to push us above. And it's just on the precipice, and I think we're going to see some serious FOMO over 100, and then once you all capitulate, that's when the big red candle comes in and shakes out some people, I think. But signs are looking good.
Yeah, there was a piece Lavinia put out over $2.6 billion worth of profits being scooped out on a daily basis at those current points. So that's fine.
It's just such an interesting, psychology, I think, in terms of it's took this, in it, like you were saying there, Gaz, in terms of people back on the table getting their messages saying, like, what should I be buying when they've had fucking 2 years. And it's just, and it gets me, people buy the pump, don't they think they're missing out, and it's a complete FOMO. I don't think it's the top, and like you've been saying, Grant, it's not. The bull market hasn't even started.
Do you see what I pulled up yesterday on round trippers? Where is it? Is this the chart I was looking at? Like the breakout of previous all-time high breakout of last cycle, we're up like 32% or something. So like when you get down to those time frames at this kind of all-time high breakout, this is what it looks like. Let's say 33 to be generous. So in the grand scheme of things, that's what it looked like.
Yeah, crazy.
Pump.Fun.
So,
It's mad to see though. It's mad to see the conviction pay off though. Like we've sat through a god awful bear market, and now you can see the signs, the signs in the charts. Like even the worst coins you can think of, some of those charts are starting to look good again. And you're like, yeah, this is the party we came for. So like, just count our blessings. We were here quite early for this. So
yeah, have you had any like funny messages from friends? I had my dad asking me where he can go 5x long on XRP today.
Jesus Christ.
No, I've just had my mate message me saying he needs to turn 5k into 50k to pay off his student loan.
That's the last thing you should be doing. Don't need to pay that off.
Where's the Infinex article? What was the like opening line in that? It was quite some. I can't find it. Someone messaging your group or something, Mike, saying they like Doge because it's not just a copy of Bitcoin.
Yeah, like Doge to $1, round number theory, and then it's just a Bitcoin ripoff. So
there it is.
I've learned from my cycle though, like obviously when we were getting involved last time, you were helping mates, you helped me, Grant, and then I was helping people, and I was like, I just do not want that responsibility because I can't even be responsible with my own portfolio the way I've been chopped up this year. So I don't need anyone else's like hanging the hat in terms of what I say and do with my portfolio.
not that you're giving any financial advice with it, but what do you say to people now that you've kind of been through it a couple of times now? It's not.
I know now that it's like Al with like you've got to get amongst it, and like Al's learned pretty well very quickly in terms of how to play and what not to play from, I guess, like the learnings of what we've had to deal with. And I think now it's like you can get lucky and just buy what you think you can buy, and if everything pumps like 2021, then you're probably going to make some money.
Yeah,
but then
you're a genius.
Yeah, you're a genius. But then at the same time, it really comes down to your sources of information and actually understanding everything. Now there's so many nuances. Unless you really want to be in it, it's very, very, very hard to understand why things are going up and why things are going down and what narratives are playing out. So I think it's even more complex game than 2021 because there's so much nuance and it's expanded so much with these narratives that things are popping up all the time. I don't think it's as simple as 2021 even now.
I think my starting piece would be like expect to lose whatever you put into the market. And if that's their base case going into it and you say, look, there's a high likelihood you lose whatever you put in, don't put in more than you can risk. And if you are up big at some point, just make sure you take out your initial capital. Mm-hmm. You'll probably outperform people just doing that. And then in terms of like, if people are asking what to buy now, obviously that's such a tricky question at this stage of the market. You got things popping off left, right, and center. But I would just say maybe focus some attention on like the kind of AI meta that's popping up here, because that seems to be attractive to the biggest capital, in my opinion.
But even then, it's like, I think with that, even the AI meta, like, I guess you've got your safer bets, like, so you've got your Tower and whatever else, where it's like an asymmetric bet across like the AI landscape. But again, with like, it's still with these Cerebro and all these memes, it's still, I guess, it's like buying Doge equivalent of maybe in 2021, but with a bit more substance, a lot more substance.
Yeah, I just stay well clear of it now. I struggle to respond to my fucking family's messages. Never mind, like people pop up every like 2 or 3 years asking what I should buy. It's just like,
You got to do the work, I think, and it's like you got to do the work. And if you don't want to, then don't. You can't lean on people to just say like it's all well and good. I had messaged a couple of months ago, and then I've had messages in the bear market where I've had family that actually did listen, and they're probably up considerable. There, like that was the time to buy, in my opinion, in terms of like where it was less risky. Whilst now, like you were saying, guys, like you probably have to expect whatever you buy, and like you could lose this money. We don't know at the end of the day. We'd like to think that we continue going up, but how long's a piece of string?
Yeah. So in funnier news this week on the Pump.Fun kind of circus that continues to happen over there. So basically, there was a story that came out. It's probably one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life. There was a kid, I think he was like 12-year-old. He's launched a token on Pump.Fun. He rugged it for $30,000 and then walked away with the profits. So the market cap of the coin just continued to increase within a couple of hours of him selling. And I think his position that he sold for 30K would have been worth over $1 million, which is absolutely hilarious. People are trying to like punish him for being a bit of a rugger. And then within a couple of hours, he also launched a coin called Lucy and a coin called Sorry. And then he sold them for an additional 25K profit. So there's been people coming out saying he's a wannabe Sahil. There's been several tokens that have been launched that are his like Gen Z Quant Mom, Dark Gen Z Quant, like Quant Buller. One of them hit up to 800K, and then quite a dark turn. Someone has apparently kidnapped the family dog because he lost 5K on Quant, which is, I don't know if that was just an excuse so they could list the dog on Pump.Fun or like some kind of psyop so they could kind of like sponge a little bit more money, or if someone actually found his address, because I think his address got doxed on and listed as a token on Pump.Fun, and then someone's actually kidnapped the family dog. But does anyone want to unpack that one?
I just think back to, when you was a kid and you did something really stupidly naughty, and you'd get maybe the old slipper across the backside or something like that. Like the mistakes kids can make now are on such a crazy scale that like, what do his parents say to him about this? Like, he's shown he's shown some real initiative. What he's done isn't technically illegal. It is the crime cycle, after all. Gensler's gone. Yeah. But I just can't believe a 12-year-old kid's gone and done this, to be fair. So I think you just got to see the hilarity in it all, to be honest with you. And the fact he said, thanks for the 20 bandos. Like a Macaulay Culkin line, I was just absolutely creased. That video is so funny, man. If you haven't seen the video, go and give the clip a watch, man.
Yeah. To be fair, even with I'm sorry, as if he psyoped everyone, like he was sorry and then done it again. But yeah, I read with the whole dog situation that it was his neighbor or someone that had helped him launch the token, and then he lost that like 5K, and then he was holding it for ransom for 5K. But like, so I don't know what dark turn that and what the end result of that has been, whether he's actually got his 5K back or the dog is still under siege.
This seemed to be like the 48-hour narrative. Like you had, even Chill Guy looks pretty bad today, doesn't it? But this is down to like 9 mil market cap again. So I think this is done, to be honest with you. But it may at least stimulate a lot of new eyeballs, or it has stimulated a lot of new eyeballs on what Pump.Fun is, Solana, meme coins. Like this is good advertisement overall, I would say. All press is good press at the end of the day for crypto. So I think it does usher in more people, and you've probably got a load of kids now trying to rug pump funds, to be honest.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to happen. 100%.
Like we need more of a minefield with Pump.Fun.
Yeah, I was checking this week for the like that kind of on-chain trading video that I recorded, and it's a success rate of 1.4% per day on average. Wow. So pretty shitty odds there, to be honest. Right, what have we got next? So DeSci, why is everyone talking about it? So it kind of happened whilst we were away, and then kind of everyone started talking about it. But I think there was a couple of catalysts that really made this thing pop. So Vitalik and CZ attended the like the DeSci day that was happening in Bangkok around the event. And there was a couple of other things that happened to coincide with that. So the first 2 tokens launched on Pump.Science went live. And then I think the Binance Labs investment in Bioprotocol. So there's just like this kind of culmination of multiple different factors all at once. And then people kind of thought, oh shit, this is actually going to be a real thing. So have you paid more attention to it? Like, what do you think about it?
Because I kind of missed the start of this because I was flying back. And I remember getting on the plane, me and KP were like, God, something's happening with DeSci. And then by the time we got off the plane, like, say 18 hours later, everything was up massively. It had repriced on that Sunday, I think it was. So I kind of like initially had to, I have faded this due to the fact I thought I've missed out the main run here. But I think for me personally, as a trade now, I'm just looking to see what settles once you've had that initial first capitulation, which seems to have occurred. Also looking into some of the experiments, looking into Pump.Science, like some really cool interfaces on that. And I've found a couple of things where I think one's called Gnosis, where they're running an experiment. I think next week it's starting. So I want to just like keep my ear to the ground, because when you've got Binance, you've got Brian Armstrong as like, is he CEO of one of RSEC, is it? Research Coin.
Yeah,
like you've got some of the most well capitalized people in this industry pointing at this sector. You shouldn't be overlooking that. So I think as like a trader's perspective, I'll definitely be keeping tabs, but I do feel out of my depth with that because I have not got a science background whatsoever. But this is where we'll rely on Grant's expertise, I think. The only issue I do have though is the kind of duration mismatch between investors in crypto and how long these experiments take to play out and the funding, etc. But we'll see how it goes, but definitely of interest.
Yeah, what do you think of that, Grant? Like, obviously, in terms of them experiments on for that, you like Euro and Riff were like the market caps were relatively low to achieve them experiments in terms of what it would cost, and then it obviously ran to like millions and millions and millions. So like that excess capital, does it just trend to like towards, unless you add more functionality to that, does it just trend towards zero essentially, or trend towards like the limitations of them experiments?
So basically, like to kind of fill people in, the Riff and Euro are 2, I suppose, cocktail of compounds that they're running a control study against for in flies at the minute. So they've got a control set of flies, and then these 2 separate kind of cocktails. So one is Riff and one is Euro. So you run the experiment. If the flies live longer than the control in Riff or Euro, then there could be cause to kind of progress the study on to see if it has some kind of longevity effects, and then you can kind of surmise in vitro models, or then kind of expand it up to mice, and then because there's always like a theory, then you have like a thesis, and then you kind of prove it, and you have to kind of like scale it up from like invertebrates to vertebrates, and then kind of expand it that way. But I think it's just a really cool way of, there's an excess of capital in this space. There's a real leakage of talent in the science, like in the scientific research industry, because people aren't getting paid properly. And then you throw in the middle of that the idea that you can kind of globally coordinate this crowd-funded system that is basically built on greed and speculation, but it doesn't really matter because the end result is you've got something that's really positive.
Tangible. Yeah, tangible.
It's the same as anything. Like if you strip it right back, what's Bitcoin? You're creating a global shared fucking distribution ledger, so you can kind of like, you need to incentivize people through mining and block rewards, and if the incentives aren't there, then nobody's securing that network. You could argue some maxis would, but like in theory, it's the same thing. Like you look at Deepin, it's the exact same thing. If you look at basically anything, it's just
decentralized AI, anything,
absolutely anything. So this is like very, very new. It's very novel. It's very early. There definitely is time duration mismatch, but with one thing to keep an eye on, it definitely is like the longevity sector, because this could definitely slot into that. And I think those trials, because they would be kind of compounds that are already typically on the market, could be sped up. So that could be a pretty seamless crossover, I think. But we'll just have to see. It's interesting nonetheless. And as I say, those 2 tokens were absolutely ripping. I've put it on everyone's radar.
Yeah.
Cool. So next is Token Mill. So this has been coming for a while. It's came from the Trader Joe camp. So effectively, it is, I suppose, you probably would call it a Pump.Fun competitor. It's a way for anyone to launch a token, but instead of it just being kind of this, I suppose, binary production on Pump.Fun where it's like it's a launch, it's a billion tokens, take it or leave it kind of thing. This has got so much kind of modularity, and you can kind of customize it in like a million different ways. And the most interesting thing about this is, other than the product in and of itself, is the fact that they've chosen to launch on Solana. So any thoughts on the product itself? It's kind of like the next evolution of what we've seen from Pump.Fun, and the decision that, given the, I suppose, native home on Avalanche and then expanding to Arbitrum, and then they went on to Ethereum with Liquidity Book for a while. I think maybe even BSC for a couple of months, but then now they've kind of basically, they said they kind of went away for a couple of months and just learned Rust. So
I think it tells you the direction of travel for builders generally. And you're seeing people not only build products on here, you're seeing a lot of people bridge liquidity to Sol, because it doesn't take a genius to work out this is where the liquidity is, where all the retail action is, and that's what you want to be amongst. So it's a great signal again for Solana, and these boys obviously can ship like crazy. So super interesting. Did meet Blue at the Blockmates do. I was probably like 7-8 beers deep at that point, so he was shilling us on this. But I had to do some reading up afterwards, because I was like, mate, this is going over my head a bit. But the fact you can have customizable bonding curves, obviously tokens, you can do token vestings. There's a creator fee as well that can be implemented for the people who set up the launches, and then to get skin in the game, the creator obviously has to buy some of the tokens for the initial bonding curve as well. I think it offers a cool dynamic and a cool competitor to Pump. The drawbacks that I see though are the fact like people have just got so much muscle memory for Pump.Fun right now, and if you look at like what's gone on Token Mill thus far, nothing's really taken off as of yet. So it's kind of like, how do you get the people across? Are they going to be able to stimulate people to go there or something? Because I think it's super interesting, but it's just like, how do you get people to move from what they're used to? That's the kind of difficult bit in crypto, I'd say.
Yeah, like I guess from like a odds perspective with Pump.Fun, like there's obviously quite a few flaws with Pump.Fun in terms of what it currently offers. It doesn't, like, you can just, like you say, that lad, that fat little kid rugging token and stuff like that. You've got to, with any product like this, you've got to introduce a new angle. I think all the innovation in that is definitely heading in the right direction. Because like, and over time, can you get users to come over here and then not have to pick up, like, there might be, I don't know, 100 coins instead of 20 million coins launched daily, that you've got a high success rate, and then that essentially moves more users and drives more liquidity over to Token Mill, versus Pump.Fun, where you're like, well, I'm going to buy 20 tokens and the odds of me actually winning on any of these are so low that it's impossible. So I think there's that sort of dynamic, and if they can do that, like, that's what would drive me, because I'd be like, well, I don't have to look at 40,000 tokens. I only have to look at 100, and then there's probably more credibility behind these because there's more functionality, like vesting tokens, so you can do your due diligence and then make a decision based on that instead of just spraying and praying.
This should be quite transparent as well, right? So like if you get into a launch, you can see the vesting terms, etc. Like a lot of, like, there's been quite a few launches where you've had people selling supposedly vested tokens. You've had shenanigans going on where you think, like, as an investor, to make an informed decision, it's actually been really hard. They're purposefully opaque with tokenomics and stuff. So I think if we can have
stake tokens, like
locked
all
stake tokens,
shit.
man, that's just. But like, if we can have a more transparent like road to the market like this, I think this is obviously going to be a good thing for crypto more broadly. And I think this is something that Sol needs as well. There's been people trying in the past, but nothing's taken off. So kudos to the Trader Joe boys, to be fair.
Yeah, I think initially it's a new casino, and you have to have a few people come out of it making a lot of money to kind of like evangelize those early adopters. Then they go and kind of spread the gospel across the ecosystem. Then more people come on, so then the kind of flywheel starts. But then I think post that, you do have so much flexibility with regards to kind of how teams could potentially look at launching a token, because they want as little hassle as physically possible. And then this kind of provides you the ability to go and do that. So I like the fact that there's new games to be played, new casino to be played. I love the fact that it's on Solana. Yeah, I think they're a great team. So best of luck to them. Cool. So I don't know if Baron is pulling the strings over in the Trump camp at the minute, but Trump media considers buying trading venture backed. What do you think? Baron wants, Baron gets.
He's definitely in the trenches, that kid.
Yeah.
It's actually too funny, but
he probably stole that kid's dog.
It's actually like crazy to see the two directions we could have taken here with that election victory. Like it's actually insanity. And like in terms of like everyone who's in the market, the best possible outcome has occurred for us. Like there's no excuses from here on out. So if they're trying to buy Backed, which I think Backed was like one of the big names from the previous cycle, wasn't it? It was like there was like a huge raise or something. Like,
so it's backed by the Intercontinental Exchange, and it's the same owner as the New York Stock Exchange.
Wow.
So
I mean, it's just super bullish crypto and the future of crypto. This stuff, like I couldn't have asked for a more bullish outcome more broadly, to be honest with you.
Well, what the news of the last 24 hours is like what Gensler's going to, like on the 20th. They're going to get a crypto to Czar in. What else is there? Like it was just like positive news after some positive news from like
on-chain crime legal.
And they're going to start a strategic reserve for Bitcoin. Apparently,
well, that's one of the largest markets on Polymarket at the minute.
Okay.
So
like, are they going to start one?
Well, Hester Pierce was on TV saying so.
And then it's just like, does every other nation state just front run that?
Not the UK.
Yeah, that one up. They'll buy like Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision or some shit like that. They're fucking backwards they are.
Bitcoin Cash.
They buy all the stable coins.
Charlie Hoskinson's supposed to be getting in there as well. But yeah, like the Backed jumped 162%. Trade was halted several times. Trump media pumped 16%. And then also Trump is contemplating creating the first ever crypto role within the White House. So, and the people are selling. Like,
it's going to get blown out here. Like, it's going to be insane. I think there is actually a shout as well. I think Messi said something like, this could be the cycle. Like, it just could be the one where it just goes up so high and so long from here. Then we have a horrendous bear market at some point, but this could last for a long while if you have the game theory play out as such. But I wouldn't bank on that. But
so basically, if I don't make it this cycle, I fucked it, and then I'm going to be the only one. I'm going to be the last one left. For fuck's sake!
Just you trading against Baron Trump. That's you Baron Trump and Gen Z Quant all trading and rugging each other. Justin Sin's probably still here as well. Right, final one is MicroStrategy joins top 100 US companies by market cap. The It managed to climb to 86th position, landing just below Starbucks, which is hilarious. It blasted over $100 billion market cap threshold. MicroStrategy also beat Tesla and Nvidia to become top traded stock on the daily time frame. It's become more than a year since the two stocks were overshadowed by someone new. Had 4.6 billion worth of BTC to its stash this week. It's he's going to buy the top forever, he said. So, what do we think?
To be fair, you pulled that chart up. I think you pulled it up on Church yesterday. It was like the moment I tuned in, and it looked like a shitcoin chart. Like it just was like vertical.
Oh, the MicroStrategy chart. I thought you meant like sales.
No. Also that.
He's just perma-buy.
Top blast candy like all day long.
Wow, look at the wick on that.
Jesus Christ.
Why did it go up to 540? That's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, is he just going to continue to... How much has he got left to buy from his mandate? He's got like 34 billion or some shit. Oh, is that right? How much did he commit to?
43 was the initial number.
And they've bought, 7? So...
Didn't they just raise, 2.5? And then, was it today? Was there another 3 billion banded around this morning? Like, I'm not even sure what's happening anymore.
Yeah, I've lost all...
He's just got like a daily draft to say we're buying more Bitcoin at this point in time.
3 billion offering a convertible note at 0%, 55% premium, strike price of 672. Cool.
Can we get a TradFi bro on to explain us exactly what all these terms mean?
Yeah, we need someone to go through this strategy, like what the perils of it are.
Yeah, like buying with debt and stuff like that. I just don't understand. Like what's the actual, like, because obviously it's been compared to. I've seen a couple of things as like people have been bearish and saying it's going to be the Luna of this cycle, but like I don't understand the mechanics of why that would be, apart from like you've got to sell something at some point.
Yeah, like you'd have to sell Bitcoin to cover the losses on. Yeah. So, but like then you're not printing infinite Bitcoin on the way down like Luna was. So there would be kind of some like extreme reflexivity with the kind of unwind of it if it ever were to happen. But
yeah, it's like a bit like an MT Gox scenario where everyone panics because they're unwind.
Well, yeah, if price drops and people want out, like there's just going to be reflexivity in it. But like that's crypto in a nutshell.
I'm assuming he owns a gargantuan percentage of the MicroStrategy supply, though, and that just gets absolutely full stacked at some point to protect the Bitcoin, because he's literally said, "I promise we will not ever sell Bitcoin." The company or himself personally, he said that numerous times, which is an outrageous thing to say.
Yeah, because the price of MicroStrategy continues to go up, so he has to sell less shares to raise the funds for it to like just compound it. And, like, we need to do this for Filecoin. Like, Blockmates is going to become the MicroStrategy of Filecoin, and we're going to raise billions.
I mean, in the last 24 hours for Filecoin, you've got Raoul Pal talking about it. You've got the stock twits guys. Like, it's getting some traction now.
Yeah, we've got Raoul on the podcast next week or the week after.
Have you? Oh, lovely.
So, like, if there's any tickers people want chilling, just leave them in the comments below. All right, I think that's it. One last thing. When 100K this week?
Surely today.
How close is it?
Grinding a bit.
It's just, come on.
99,543. It's just gonna fucking blast through that. And like, I think Kane posted earlier, there's 100 million BTC, 140 million BTC sell wall on Binance or some shit. So
really, what number?
100K.
Why round number theory? Why so everyone's so
I'm
like
gonna fucking bang a tweet for when we push 100K as well. So that needs to fucking hurry up for myself. 2 likes. Cool.
Yeah, sounds good.
And Sol is obviously hit all-time high. which is amazing to see. Just literally passed through and tapped 264 from previous all-time high of 259, I believe.
Bosh.
Beautiful stuff.
Bosh. Cool. So if you're listening, liked all that, if you want to be kept up to date 5 days a week into your inbox, then please subscribe to the Blockmates newsletter. That's directly below. Should take you 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes every day. And anything else? Yeah, if you want to continue the conversation, jump in Discord. It's free. Jump in, come say hi, and we'll see you next week.
Quick one, nothing here is financial advice. It's for entertainment and educational purposes only. Always do your own research or speak to a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.